So this is just designed as a quick build, something a little bit different, and it's actually just a way of utilising this kit, which looked fine once I bought it, but it's obviously been around the houses quite a bit, and the wing is quite badly warped among other things, so I figured I'd just give it a go as a video like this, and we do something a little bit different with the marking schemes at the end. So typical Airfix, this kit's been built quite a lot. I've built numerous amounts of them, probably 3 or 4 now, and everything's pretty straightforward. It's quite a detailed kit out of the box. Here you can see there's plenty going on in the cockpit there. So there's a few notable issues with this one, namely these legs here. In the mould, this one on the left is actually warped all the time. It's meant to be straight like the one on the right is. So you do have to bend it back, but to be honest, all the way through the build it does sort of cause you an issue. It never really sits right at the end, so it's best off replacing or using a bit of metal rod to strengthen it, but I don't do either of that. The other thing is the control stick as well in the cockpit, which I missed at the start. That's always too heavy on the sprue gate, so it always snaps, so it's best just to make one out of wire, which is what I did. And onto the instrument panel decal here, which is perfectly straightforward and quite well detailed, and it tucks in quite far into the cockpit, so it's not much of an issue. And then we're on to painting the cockpit, so I'm using Mr. Colour 351 here, which is from their interior cockpit set, so it's the US interior green basically, zinc chromate green I think they've got it as, and it's a very good rendition of the colour. So I sprayed the sidewalls there, and then masked off and sprayed the air scoop black, and the wheelbase as well, but they were actually repainted afterwards because I sprayed them yellow. And the way the canopy goes on is it's a bit of a pain doing it like this, but it's okay in the end. You've got to kind of glue it up there and just hope for the best. And now you can see there that I've sprayed most of the cockpit there with the green colour, and then picked out the radiator in black. And it all goes in alright. This is the start of the problems with the warping. The actual side of the fuselage is warped here, and as I press it in, it kind of pops out from one end to the other, and it's just a bad moulded kit basically. It's just one of the ones that shouldn't have made it through, but it did, and it ended up with me. So I've got some hand painting going on now inside the cockpit to pick out all of the details, which is always quite good on this kit because there's quite a lot of detail in there, and when it is picked out it does pop quite well. And seat belts made from strips of masking tape, and here I've just picked out a few of the details on the sidewall. As you can see, there's most of it's there. I mean, there's not really much lacking. It's quite good for that. And now just finishing off the interior details with a wash with raw umber oil paints, just thinned heavily, and run around the details. And then a good bit of clamping to get the parts into the inside of one of the fuselage halves. And this shows how warped it was and twisted, so I had to really clamp it together like that to get a good join. And there you can see the rear end of that right hand side fuselage is not meant to be bending off like that. It should be clamped together on its own accord, but like I say, one whole side of the kit is warped. It's quite a good join here with the wing to the fuselage. It's well done, and there's hardly any gaps there. That's what I'm showing you here. It's very tight, which is very good. The way it's designed to go in, it's quite a clever little way of doing it from Airfix there. And as this is a captured aircraft, as I mentioned, being German, it's sacrilege, but I've got to put a swastika on a Mustang, and the way they did it was by painting a white circle on the end there, so I masked that up using the white that was underneath in the base coat, and just used it's actually a wheel mask from Montex that was left over, and it's just the right size circle, so stuck that on just as I remembered before spraying the green, and there you go. It's not perfect, but it's done the job. And I've got a set of swastika decals that fit nicely in there. And now we're on to the decaling. So this is just stuff out of the spares box. Like I said, I've got a sheet of swastikas, which is an odd thing to have come through the post, but there you go. You just need it if you want to do things accurately. And the crosses here are all from an Airfix 109 that were left over in the spares box. And all being cartograph, went on very well and went down very nicely with some setting solution. And here we are ready to finish off with the wheelbase, spraying them interior green. So that's all just been masked up, and that went on without any problem. And then the final part of the video is just to do these washes for final weathering. So I've got burnt umber there, usual thing like I do in most of my videos, just mix it with some odourless thinners and apply a panel line wash and try and give it a kind of weathered look, really. So there we are, it's just a quick build, something a little bit different hopefully. As I said at the beginning of the video, this was really based on just trying to utilise a kit that really probably should have been chucked out with its flaws. It's a bit beyond getting anything accurate. I know you can't really see it in the pictures here, but when you've got the model in front of you, the wing warp is quite noticeable. But this has given it at least a life. This will something for me to take to the club and have about in the display cabinet for a little bit, and then it will probably move on to the bin. So there we go. Hopefully that video was of interest and something a little bit different, and hopefully it wasn't too bad taste giving a German markings on a Mustang, but it is all historical, and I've put a picture at the end to show the actual captured aircraft. And the good news is the Germans captured 3 Mustangs and flew them all together, and then they were recaptured by the Americans, so it all ended up the right way at the end. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you see, and I'll see you in the next video.